How the table has turned. EU in shamble over COVID crisis, seeking help from UK in desperation. Italy has begun accepting emergency coronavirus cases from Germany as the pandemic continues to spark chaos across Europe. Europe's largest economy has plunged into a national emergency as infection rates across Germany are now higher than ever before. More than 60,000 new infections were recorded in a single day across the nation. This marks the first time since the pandemic started the country boasts such high numbers. Now, in a bid to help the increasing number of cases, Italy has opened its doors for emergency coronavirus cases. According to German outlet, Bild, the Chief of Staff of the Air Force has informed all its departments the Federal Chancellery has commissioned the Ministry of Defense to prepare for the support of the intra-German transfer of intensive care patients, 5 to 10 patients per week. This means when intensive care units are full, the Air Force should use its helicopters and A400M transport machines to bring seriously ill patients to less affected regions. The first patients have already been transferred to Bolzano and Meran in Italy, but without the help of the Air Force. Mark Kaufmann, the COVID operations manager in the Italian province of South Tyrol, said, "We still have resources in the current phase. We received help several times from Austria and Germany and, of course, we don't want to refuse this at this stage when we can help." Lothar Wieler, the head of the Robert Koch Institute, RKI, Germany's public health body, warned they have never been as concerned as they are now. He said on Wednesday, "We have never been as concerned as we are now. There is an emergency in our country. Unless immediate action is taken," he added, "people should expect a very dire Christmas." Angela Merkel claimed, "The fourth wave is hitting our country with full force." Last week, a coronavirus patient at the Klinikum Freising hospital in a Bavarian mid-sized town had to be transferred to a hospital in Italy's South Tyrol region due to a lack of capacity. Thomas Marks, the medical director of the hospital, said, "We had no more capacity to receive them, and the surrounding Bavarian hospitals were also full." Speaking to the news site I Am Expat, Dr. Marks said another patient had to be transferred by the emergency services over the weekend. He also confirmed all coronavirus patients in its intensive care unit are unvaccinated. On Thursday, Ms. Merkel announced new restrictions will be imposed by region, based on the hospitalization rates. Access to public life, restaurants, bars, gyms, hairdressers, cinemas, theaters, and events, will be reserved for the vaccinated in many areas. The outgoing chancellor also claimed the federal government would consider a request from regions for legislation to force care and hospital workers to be vaccinated. In Saxony, the region with Germany's lowest vaccination rate and the hardest hit by the new COVID wave, is considering shutting theaters, concert halls and soccer stadiums. Health Minister Jens Spahn, speaking about the fourth wave of infections, urged people to reduce their social contacts and warned vaccinations alone will not reduce case numbers. Other EU members including Ireland, Hungary, Greece and the Baltic states also have infection rates higher than the UK's. But several, mainly those with high vaccination rates and relatively strict social distancing rules, do not. They include France on 201 daily infections per million, Italy on 138 and Spain on 95, as well as Portugal, Finland, and Sweden. Infection rates in Romania and Bulgaria, previously the EU's worst affected countries, are now also much lower. As COVID infection rates surged again across Europe, Boris Johnson spoke this week of storm clouds gathering over parts of the continent and said it was unclear when or how badly the latest wave would wash up on our shores. The situation in some EU member states, particularly those with low vaccination rates, is indeed dramatic. In Central and Eastern Europe in particular, but also Austria, Belgium and the Netherlands, case numbers are rocketing. But missing from the Prime Minister's remarks, and from much of the media coverage of them, was the fact that Britain's rolling 7-day average of daily new coronavirus cases is still higher than the average of the EU 27, and has been since June. According to figures from Our World in Data, the EU's average has quadrupled in recent weeks, from just over 110 daily new cases per million people on the 1st of October to 446 on Thursday. The UK began that same period with a daily infection rate of 505 per million people, nearly 5 times the EU27 average. After peaking at nearly 700 in late October, the rate fell to 495 on the 10th of November, but for the past week it has been climbing sharply again.